everybody. How are you, firstly? A couple days after my birthday, you know what I've realised? I don't script any of these videos. I should probably think of like a topic or something to discuss when I make these videos. I just go, and when I'm out and about, I'll just put the phone down and start thinking, you know what, let me make a video. So then I just put the phone down and start recording. Anyway, one of the first things I want to talk about today is the idea of compound interest, but not the one that you may presume. The idea of compound interest, not financially, but the idea of compound interest in terms of your workload. So, let's just say, for example, I'll use a financial example because that's what compound interest comes from, and I want to make it as clear and direct as possible. Let's just say you put £50 in every single day into maybe S&P 500, like index fund, you know, or into a high yield interest savings account. Something that gives you a return, right? Just anything, maybe any investment, right? £50 a day, £50 a day, £50 a day. You can now say, you know what? If I put in £50 a day, and this is due to give me 7 or 8% return over the year, that's 50 times by 365. Which I'm not going to do the maths. It's 50 times by 365 is how much you're going to be investing, you know? And then you add another 7 to 8% on that is how much you're going to be making, right? You know, oh, you can do the maths on it. That's how much I'm going to make. However, now if you miss a day, or you miss 2 days, you now are not able, well, you are able, but it's going to be a lot more complicated. You're going to say, oh yes, 50 times, but then 364 days. It's not a year, is it? You've not been investing for a year. 363. Kind of gay. You're not investing for the full thing, are you? That's why it becomes a little more complicated. Because now your return has decreased. Well, the amount of money, the actual like statistical amount, has decreased because you've invested less. That's evident, right? So this can apply to life. Okay, if you was to put in that £50 a day every single day in terms of your workload, you go to that gym every single day. You know what's better? Let's say you miss that day in terms of £50 and you can't put £50 in. You don't feel like putting £50 in. You don't have enough money to put £50 in. You put £20 in. That's still going to be a lot better than putting zero. Because if you put £0 in, you're breaking the laws of compound interest. The laws of compound interest is if you put something into it and it increases over time. As the more you put into it, the more it increases, right? So if you say the more you put into it and you don't put more into it on that specific day, regardless of how much it is, that is going to lead into the breaking of the rules. So now let's apply this to life, right? Let's just say, right, you need to do some work and you need to go to the gym. You need to do your business work and you need to go to the gym, right? These two things that you need to do. And let's just say one of the days, you're not feeling it. Yesterday was a hard, long day and you're quite tired. You're not feeling the idea to do more work. You're not feeling the gym. One of the things I learned from Atomic Habits, James Clear, is this idea actually of compound interest. If you improve yourself 1% every day, you will be 37.7 recurring percent better by the end of the year. Now, obviously not the end of this year, like the end of the year forthcoming. Anyway, you don't feel like going to the gym. You don't feel like putting in the work. If you just put in that work, whether it's shit work, you just show up. Just show up. Because the most important thing, right, is that it's easier to continue a habit once you've already started than to start it in the first place. Because the idea of starting energy is very, very significant because you trying to start something new is harder. It's very difficult because you are fighting against old cues and old things that will take you back. Like let's say you wanted to start reading a book, right? But your mind takes you elsewhere and here and here. There's a reason as to why it's hard. But if you just put everything down and just open a book, make the idea of the habit say, oh yeah, the idea of the habit is for me to open the book. That's all, nothing else. Then if you was to do that, you're going to open the book and you're going to finish, you're going to create, you're going to end up doing the habit more often. And also you're going to feel a lot more fulfilled because the completion of the habit is a lot easier. I don't think she's seen the phone. She's looking around. She didn't see the phone. She's probably thinking I'm speaking to myself. It's hilarious. Anyway, the main preface of this video is to just show up. And that's what I'm going to be implementing. This is what I've been implementing. Just showing up. Whether it's a shit day, whether it's a bad day, whether it's a great day, amazing, today has been the most productive day in the last 7 days. Hands down. I feel very, very good about today. I've got the energy, I've done the work, you know, I'm really happy about today, right? Lakin, yesterday was a bad day. I done more work in the first 5 hours of today, first 4 hours of today, than I did the whole of yesterday. That's because I set myself to be a sayer. Okay? You know what a sayer is, right? I'm probably going to amass a 90%, 99% male audience, but a sayer is somebody who does what he says. So look, you can think a lot and be like, oh, I want to do this in my mind, I want to do this, I like this. However, once you verbalize it and say it out loud, it's something also known as Atomic Habits. I forgot the word for it. It's implementation. Slipped my mind. Something. Intention implementation. Okay? Once you verbalize it and say it out loud, for me, example, I said to myself, I will do 10 something before 1 o'clock. Yesterday I said it out loud. And I did it. That's because I want to be a man of my word to myself. What's more important than keeping a promise to others is keeping a promise to yourself. That's the most important thing. Because if you can keep a promise to yourself, keeping promises to others is easy. That's easy. Because the head, what's it called? It's way harder to keep a promise to yourself than it is to be about somebody else who you don't really care about. Or if you even care about them. You don't care about anybody more than yourself. So if you keep that promise to yourself, it's going to be even more difficult because it's you. Others are, you know, they're just prerequisite. Now, I probably shouldn't have told this lady. This lady is quite busy. Surprisingly, I presume that I would have been. But let's see if this lady also sees what the phone is. I don't think she's headphones in, phone looking. Yeah, she's locked into her phone. But anyway, this idea, right, of verbalizing it and keep a promise to yourself, right? It's so powerful. It's the only reason I've been able to be not as successful, but as productive. Because relatively, in my mind, I'm not successful, you know? But in terms of successful in my habits, I would say I'm always progressing, and I think I'm doing very, very well. But the idea of success is upper echelon. I don't think I've reached that yet. But I've reached a threshold where I can give value to people like you. If you're looking to figure out how to get better with your habits, you need to know, right? About 99% of life is systems. Okay? If you have the right systems and the right goals, right, but you're not really thinking about the goals, you're really focusing on the systems, right? But the goals are there to set the system, because you're going to need both. Some people are here saying, don't have goals, just have systems. No, you need to have a goal so you can implement the system, and you have reasoning and discipline and motivation to implement that system. Oh my days, another person. Give it a break, lads. Oh, from both sides, I'm getting cooked. That is hilarious. Oh, yeah. Headphones and all that. Sitting here is really making me think, like, do these guys have brains? Or they're just in their own la-la lands? Every single person here with headphones. Yeah. Don't tell me both sides of the land. God. Give it a rest. These people are walking faster. Anyway. Just give us a second. I'm not going to Anyway, as I was saying, the idea of verbalizing is very, very important, because if you verbalize it, you say the thing, say it out loud, but saying it is different to thinking. You can think a lot, but saying it is you specifically attaining, and also if you attach it to a time. Attach it to a time and an environment, that's even more powerful, because the specificity increases the likelihood of the action happening. I will do 10 press-ups after every salah. After every single time I pray, I will do 10 press-ups. You get me? That's also another thing called habit stacking. If you really want the in-depth and the real source to habits, I'd read Atomic Habits, man. It completely changed my life. One of the greatest books I've read. And I've read hundreds and hundreds of books. I've still got hundreds and hundreds to read. Because to be completely frank, a lot of the books that I read were maybe self-help books or fiction books or those type of, Now I'm delving into the realm of business books. I've read like 4 or 5 business books, and I'm still increasing ever so. Anyway, I've yapped the last 5 minutes, but first 10 minutes were quality. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave you guys to it, yeah? In terms of the habits, if you dial down those habits and do well in those habits and fix the systems, money, relationships, wealth, health, everything will come. Just dial down the system, bro. Life is about systems. Speak soon.